In studio. I'm going to kick this on the FM. We're going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking about stuff that you need to know about. Feel free to share this out. Let me know if you have any questions. Good morning. It's KHEA Radio. Right now it's 11:04, and I am excited because I have some guests that are hanging out in studio. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to find out everything that they have going on.
I'm Nelson Negron, COO and Financial Advisor of Provident Oak Financial.
And I'm Rihanna Negron, and I am the CEO of Provident Oak Financial.
Yes, and so y'all been in studio before. How long ago was that?
Oh my gosh, over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a while back, huh?
It was.
So what all has happened in the past 3 years? How have y'all been?
Oh, gosh.
So busy.
Yeah, very busy. It's been great. Things are great on our end. We are looking to expand our operation as well. So we've been blessed throughout the past 3+ years, and can't really complain.
Okay. What, like in the financial world, how have things changed in the past 3 years since y'all came in? What's going on right now with the market and with everything?
So there was this thing called Corona.
Oh, yeah, the coronavirus. Yeah.
It kind of changed things a little bit for people, but really, I guess you're probably the expert on this in the stock market world.
Yeah, well, we talk to a lot of people on a day-to-day basis that right now there's a little bit of worry out there. There's definitely the sentiment of things not being as good as they were, and so the markets have been more volatile over the past 6 months or so. But when we kind of look into some indicators for the future, things actually look pretty well. And I know the R word, the recession word, keeps getting thrown out there, but from the things that I see, the people that I talk to, and the research that I do, I really don't see that happening over the next 12 months.
Okay. And with the clients that y'all have, I guess, is there that worry? Are they feeling confident? What is the general feedback from people?
So our clients are amazing. Fortunately, we have good relationships with them. So we tend to find that we're calling to check on them versus them calling, trying to walk off the ledge. We always say part of our job is to keep people from jumping off the ledge and just remind them that this is a long-term plan. This isn't meant to be a Vegas overnight make me rich plan. We're in this for the long term. So just remember our plan and our goals. And, sometimes we have to remind them, like, what were your goals? Like, when we talked, you didn't tell me you needed to make X amount of money in 5-6 months. This was, 10, 20 years out. Remember your goals, and it kind of calms them a little bit.
Yeah, so I have a doctor. He's a nutritionist that comes in. He was actually in here earlier, and he says we live in a microwave society. People work out, you eat right. It's like, I want it now. And it's the same thing with your finances, your investments, right? Is that what y'all have seen?
Absolutely. One of the things that we say to our clients or those that are wanting to become clients the first time that we sit with them is we really let them know, hey, we're not stock pickers, we're not day traders. That's not why we're doing what we're doing. What we're doing is really working out a long-term plan for you, and really working on what has been successful in the past and what strategies and plans and investments are positioned to work well and do well for the future. And so we really do a lot of the coaching and really teaching about long-term planning, and we're not here to try to make X number of dollars overnight, but help you reach your goals, whether it's a retirement goal, saving for college, saving for a home, buying a new car. What are these goals that you're after, and what tools can we use to get you there?
Okay. Whenever you say long-term, that could mean something different to somebody else, especially what age you start at. So generally, what is considered long-term?
Long-term is really going to be that anywhere from 5 years on.
Okay.
And a lot of times we're going to talk to them about, okay, these may be long-term goals, but what is that 3 to 5 year goal? What is that 10 to 20 year goal, and anything beyond that? So we can really break it up into, while over years may be considered long-term, what is maybe a shorter, mid, and longer-term goal, and how can we work through those?
And for people that work with you guys, y'all's clients, do they range from, 20s to 30, 40, 50s? Or like when is the ideal time to start, and is it ever too late to start?
The ideal time to start is now. It doesn't matter where you are in your walk of life. You have to start somewhere. So we have clients from out of college, young families, to people that probably would like to retire in 2 years that walk in our door and say, what do I do? I should have started. The reality of it is we all have a piece of pie. And that piece of pie is bigger, more dollars for some and less for others. And we need to figure out how to make that piece of pie work for you. So, we start with the whole process, the financial plan, the goals, and see, what choices are you making today and how are they going to affect you tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Some are more dramatic. If you only have a few years to retire and you don't have the funds, then we may have to be a little bit more, tight-knit with what we're doing now versus a 20-year-old walking into our office with a long-term plan. So
yes. Do most people have realistic goals or unrealistic goals when it comes to retirement or savings?
I think people in general, at least from our experience, really don't know. They really haven't thought about it, and which is understandable. You're just thinking, how am I getting through today? How am I getting through tomorrow, through the next week, the next month, the next year? They're not thinking 10, 20 years down the road, and that's where we can help, and that's where we can help have those conversations. Even married couples who really haven't talked about what is their retirement going to look like, but have that conversation and bring those topics up and work with them over time to develop what do you want your retirement to look like? Where do you want your kids to possibly go to school after they get, they graduate from high school? So really just starting those conversations, really getting that information, kind of flowing between all parties involved. I think it's just more that they really just haven't put much thought into it, maybe haven't felt like they can or know how or what to even begin with. And like she said, wherever you're at, just start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I think that's part of society though, because we kind of don't talk about money, growing up, or how much do you make a year? That's not something, your employers say, hey, don't talk about it. And it's just like, this is your personal information. So we don't have that conversation as much as we probably should, with kids growing up and teenagers and knowing I should start investing now, right? Because it's not super fun to talk about whenever you retire if you're like 17 years old, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's interesting. A lot of it is going to be just making yourself aware of where you're at and what you're doing with your money. Just having some kind of idea as to where the money is going, and really just being disciplined. But again, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
What does that look like? How are you disciplined? And what behaviors with money can set you up for success in the future?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I feel like a common misconception with that is people think, well, if we come to you and you put me on a budget, the bad B word, for finances, then I can't live my life. I'm not going to be able to enjoy my life right now. I want to enjoy my life. We only have one life. Well, that's not true. What you do is you make a plan that includes that. If it means you need a night out, if it means you want to go see your family, we like to travel, you just make it part of your plan. And you figure out where can you cut back other places to make that part of a plan versus stressing out and not enjoying the trip because you've just spent money you didn't have that you didn't plan for and you're not really enjoying it anyway.
Yeah. So I'm guessing most people probably don't know where all their money goes. But is that a good place to start? You got to write it down and know where your dollars are going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's writing it down, using an app, a spreadsheet, some people like Excel to do that or whatever.
I don't like
No.
I like an app.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different options out there that you can use to keep a budget and keep on track, but it's just use something. Start somewhere, do something so you're aware and you're not thinking, where did all my money go? Why am I living paycheck to paycheck? When you start writing it down, start keeping track of it in some form, you're going to start to see where that money is going.
Yeah, for your clients, I'm guessing everything would be like customized because everybody would have different budgets. But are there any general rules where, hey, maybe try and save this much, or a portion of this pie goes here? Is there any general rules for that y'all would suggest?
Yeah, I think the first rule that we go by is giving. What are you going to give first? A general rule there would, it's kind of standard is 10%. So whether you're giving to your church or to an organization or something like that, and there's even a lot of research, and we actually have talked about it in the past. Is there's research that's been done that shows that giving actually is a little bit selfish, because you get something back from that emotionally, mentally. You actually get something back from giving. So when you start there, then when you move on to the other parts of your budget, it becomes easier. So you give the first 10%, and then you pay yourself back anywhere between 10 to 15%, and then you can parse out the rest of it based on what your expenses are.
And savings is important. We find that people like to focus on maybe paying off debt first, and they'll go and they'll pay off all their credit cards, but they don't have savings. So the first time an emergency comes up, what do?
Use your
go to
credit
your
card.
credit card.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're right back where you started, and you probably paid it off before the interest rate went up, but you still have the card. Well, now you had to use it as an emergency, and you're paying interest because you're past that period.
Yeah.
And so you're paying more for the money. As an option, you should, have savings, and then when that emergency comes up, you're not being charged extra to use that.
Okay, that makes sense. If you're just not joining us, I'm talking with Provident Oak Financial, and I just want to know, I guess, so how do things work? Like, what do y'all offer, and then how does it go if somebody approaches you guys and says, I want to see what y'all can do for me?
Well, I'll take the second part first. Really, if they want to know how we can help them, we just set up a meeting, and it's really just an opportunity, a time for us to get together, talk, get to know each other, and see if it's a good fit. We want to understand where someone is in their life, in their financial life, and what's going on. Give them the opportunity to ask us questions. What do they want to know about us? Because we want to make sure that we're all on the same page. What we do fits what they're looking for, and then they can also feel comfortable with the advice and recommendations that we're going to give. Mm-hmm. So that's how that first conversation would look. As far as what we do, it's really just we coach them and help them with their entire financial life. So we're going to help them with their budget. We're going to help them with their investments. We're going to help them understand what their behaviors are when it comes to what money is. It's really, it's not just investing. While investments may be a big piece to the puzzle, we want to use every available tool that's out there to help them get to where they're trying to go with whatever their goals are, and help them understand what those goals are.
And that may look different for everybody. I mean, I spent a month once shopping for a Jeep. We had a client that wanted to know, should I lease, should I buy, where's the best place? We're there to make those big decisions and help you decide, how does this affect your long-term goals? Mm-hmm. What's the best option for this? Is it okay to make this, purchase at this point, or should we wait a month or a year or whatever it may be? We like to be a part of those big decisions that affect their financial goals. Now, at the end of the day, it is their money, and they can do whatever they want. All we can do is advise them on what we would recommend.
Yeah.
But I think the saddest thing I've ever heard was somebody said, we wanted to come to you sooner, but we didn't think we had enough money to meet with you and invest. I hate that. Unfortunately, it is a thing. I can't say names. Some do have minimums. We're not those people. We really feel like this is a calling for us, that we need to help as many people as we can get to where they would like to go. So we don't set crazy minimums and all these things. We like to help. And if you don't find somebody to help you, keep calling. We're out there. It might be few and far in between, but there are people to help you, and you don't have to be a millionaire or a half millionaire or whatever it is. Just find somebody that you are comfortable with, that you trust, and that is willing to help you as a person and not a number amount.
Yes.
That's important.
So you can be young, you can be single.
Yeah.
You have something. Let's get started now.
Yes.
Let's say somebody's married. How important is to have both people on the same page in their savings and budgeting plans? And is that ever a hassle, I suppose?
Yeah, we kind of kid
Marriage
sometimes
counseling?
And say that we're part-time marriage counselors as well. It's absolutely a must in a marriage. We have conversations quite often where the husband and wife have not had those conversations about money, or where the wife or the husband, either way, will say, oh, well, they handle all the money. I do all this and they handle the money. But then, the worst happens. One of them passes, and it may be the person that who was handling all the finances, and then the other person doesn't know who to go to for help, where the accounts are, what the passwords were, or any of that. And so it's about sitting down with both of them, making sure everybody's on the same page, and at the very least, having both of them understand that, hey, if something happens, come to us. We know where everything is and how everything it was working. We have the plan that was put in place, and we can take it. We can take you on and help you during this transition in your life.
Wow. Yeah. Have y'all ever seen a case where there's two people, maybe they don't agree, and one person wants to invest their money or save their money, and the other person like, hey, you do what you want?
Not really do what you want. Well, I guess so. We do have clients that are on that mindset of their money is their money and that they have separate accounts and separate things. We do not encourage that. We really feel that everybody should have an idea of what's going on both ends. I feel like at the end of the day, when you start really going through it, you find that there's a deeper rooted issue. And that's why we say marriage counseling. It's not typically a mindset of I don't care and it's mine and yours. It's something happened in a childhood or something happened in a different marriage or in their marriage or whatever. And then we find once we get down to the root of whatever was going on, then they can come together, even if they just meet halfway, and then we can come up with a plan that works for everybody.
Okay. And that first meeting is kind of where everything starts. Lay the cards on the table, what's going on, and then kind of develop a plan or build something custom.
It helps us to build something custom, and obviously the more information we can get right off the bat is helpful, but it's also not a situation where we're going to develop the plan and then give it to you and say, okay, good luck.
Right.
We're going to be there every step of the way, and we always say that our clients to us are like family. We want to treat them as such. They're not just a number on a piece of paper. And so we are going to get to know them over the years and over that time frame. I mean, there's whether that person or that couple or whoever is comfortable giving that information up front, or if it's something where it's going to take a few years to really get down to that rooted issue that she was talking about. We actually just recently had a client that we just now found out that there was it had something to do with the way that they grew up, and they grew up poor, and
3
so
years later,
and they were a client for 3 years. So we don't ever want anyone to feel like they have to do something in order to work with us. We're going to work with them wherever they're at, and give them a service or treat them in the best way we can. So we can help them, and whatever amount of time that takes is whatever amount of time that takes.
Do y'all have a mission statement or something that these are our principles that we live by, and somebody hears and be like, those are my people?
Yes. So if you visit our website, you can actually, do you want to say it by heart, or do you want to?
What is the website?
Well, ProvidentOakFinancial.com.
Okay.
But serving God by serving others.
Yeah. We have quite a few different scriptures on who we are and all about us and why we do what we do on there. It just says, our background, who we are, and how we got to this point. And then, of course, we're always open for any questions. When you meet with us, we're very open and honest because we want to make sure it's a good fit,
Yeah.
And we know we're not for everybody, but we're also really odd in the sense that if we're not for you, we know so many different financial advisors. We will send you to somebody that can help you because I'd rather you get what you need and not try to make something work that's not going to.
Right.
So.
What is your background?
Mine is actually in the medical field, nursing. And then I became a homeschool mom because we have 2 special needs kiddos. And when we started Provident Oak, he said, can you just help me get this business started? And I was like, okay. He said, it shouldn't be any more than a couple months.
And we're almost 4 years in now.
We are. And then I've learned that I really enjoy the community aspect and the client relationship aspect. And that's really where I've excelled and taken off. He does the portfolios, the numbers, the investments, and I do the people. I make sure that they're okay, that I know their birthdays, their families, that we're involved in our community, that we help and we give back. That's my role.
That makes sense with the medical nursing background, right?
Taking care of people.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
And let's share, I know she shared a little bit about at least like the part that you manage and stuff, but
Right.
What about your background?
Okay, so I've been in the financial services industry, 22 years now.
A long time.
A long time. And so my history is working with some of the largest financial institutions in the world. And through that time, I kind of learned a lot about not just the financial advisory role and investing and all of that, but really I learned a lot about myself. And I learned that my values and how I look at someone who needs financial advice is how I look at that is different than some of these larger financial institutions, and not trying to disparage any company or anything like that. Their business model is their business model, and they found that works for them. But the reason why we started Provident Oak was because we wanted to do things differently. We wanted to really take care of people first, and we knew that if we were doing the right thing for people and treating people the right way, that we would be taken care of. And we've seen that to be true since day one. So we opened the doors to Provident Oak in beginning of 2019, and that's where we were able to really put that vision into play and say, hey, we want to do it differently. We want to offer everyone a high level of service that they deserve, that they should expect to receive from someone who is giving them financial advice.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Okay, last time, whenever y'all were here, we talked a little bit about cryptocurrency. What's going on with Bitcoin? What's going on with crypto? What are your thoughts on all of those?
Oh, gosh.
I'll give my 2 cents.
You want to give your 2 cents first? Okay.
So I really feel like whenever you are, because most people, you're doing that on your own. You're not typically hiring somebody to do that. I always say, please don't take your life savings or your retirement plan and put it into one of those options. If you like to do that and it's fun for you, then feel free to invest anything you wouldn't mind losing in Vegas. That's totally different. If you have fun with that and that is your thing, and some people do, they enjoy it. That's great. You have a good time with that. But please, please, please keep your family or your future in mind at the same time, and don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right. What do you think?
She said it much more politely than I would. No. So, one of the things about if we take even Bitcoin, for instance, and I know we were talking a little bit about it off air, but even just looking in recent times, right, and the recent history of Bitcoin and what has it done and what was it really created to do, unless I'm missing something somewhere, my understanding was that it was supposed to be different from a government-regulated dollar, whether it's the U.S. dollar or the yen or whatever. It was supposed to be independent from that, and it was not going to correlate with investing in the stock market, right? Well, what we've seen recently is kind of the exact opposite of that. Is that it has correlated with investments, with the stock market, whether it's the Dow or the S&P 500 or whatever, and there is a kind of a rule of thumb in the investment world, is that when your neighbor or your grandmother starts telling you that you should be investing in something, then it's time to get out.
You missed it. You missed the hike. Right.
You missed it. And I think that's where we're at. From what I can see, is that you have. You can even buy Bitcoin at a convenience store or whatever, and that just doesn't really fit the long-term investment world and what we've seen. No, I could be wrong. It's been known to happen.
She looks over.
I don't have an opinion on that.
Yeah. So like she said, it's something that if you want to do it on the side and you know that it is a very high-risk investment, okay, but don't plan your future on Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency.
My heart breaks. You'd be amazed how many social media posts I see where people have literally lost everything because they saw on social media that this is what they should invest in. This was the next thing, and they did it, and they've lost everything for their family.
Yeah,
that's where it breaks my heart. Like, I'm not like anti everything else. Just be smart.
Yeah,
I don't want to see anybody lose.
We actually have a client that lost half of his retirement savings before coming to us.
Yeah.
Who lost half of his retirement savings in Bitcoin, and I believe the statistic now is that 40% of the investors in Bitcoin have actually lost money. So it really takes some serious. I think it takes a serious reality check to determine what you're going to do there.
Yeah, and I like that. Anything you're not willing to lose, like in Vegas, which I don't gamble. Like, I don't like gambling. I don't like losing money
No.
generally. I mean, it happens. I've lost money in situations, but I don't like it. Like, I remember growing up and I had friends that would go to the dog track. This is years ago. I'm from this area, and I'm like, why? You know what I mean? I'm like, why? I'm not going to lose $1. I'm not losing $1. That's not fun to me. That's not fun to lose money.
Sure.
Do whatever you want.
I'm like the $20 person. So the only time I've ever gambled, I literally take $20. And anything I win, I keep it, put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
And after that $20 is done, I'm done. And it
Done.
stresses me out. But, we have no problem. Like, if I go to dinner or a movie, you're going to spend 3 times that. I don't even think about it. But for gambling, I'm like, no.
And that's good. That's good. It's just weird. I guess everybody's different.
Sure. Yeah, and just kind of one last thing on Bitcoin, and I think it's kind of true overall, just in general when it comes to investing, is we really have shifted as investor mindset from investing to speculating. And it really, and I think a lot of it has to do with, these low cost, investment vehicles like the low-cost mutual funds or low-cost ETFs, where people have kind of thrown all their money into these and are now just investing in a ticker symbol. And they said, okay, well, this 3-letter or 4-letter ticker symbol is going to be worth X number of dollars in so many months. And then once I make so much money off of it, I'm going to sell them and buy another ticker symbol. What we have forgotten as investors is those ticker symbols represent companies, and those companies produce a product or provide a service that may or may not benefit society. And it's owning those companies. As an investor, you are buying ownership in these companies. And so are these companies that you would be proud to say, yes, I am an owner of this company. I own a portion of this company, and this company produces this product or this service and will benefit, human flourishing into the future, and they have a corner on that market or that service. And so I think what we're seeing now over the past couple of months is we're starting to see overall investor sentiment changing to more of the owner mentality instead of just buying a list of ticker symbols.
Yeah, actually supporting or believing in the mission statement or that company before putting your money into it.
Yeah, and knowing that they can actually fulfill that mandate of making a profit based on that product and service that they're providing.
Okay. If you're just joining us, talking to Provident Oak Financial, something that I know y'all used to do is y'all had a podcast, and it was regularly putting out content. Do y'all enjoy doing this? Y'all are great at interviews and stuff. So, is that fun to you guys?
So when we first started, it used to stress me out. And I would get so nervous every time we did it, and I couldn't listen to it. I still have never watched or listened to the first interview we've done.
It's good. I can pull it up. We can play it right now, actually. I'll pipe it in. Let's go.
There you go.
Close friends and family said, you look so nervous. And I was like, great, I don't need to see it. So I realized, I think for me, that once we relaxed and just started being ourselves, it seemed like that's when we drew more people in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started having fun with it, because now I'm not so worried about saying the right thing or doing the right thing. We're just going back and forth like we do every day. We're just being ourselves. And now it's enjoyable. Now I found a way to give important information to everyday people in a fun and lighthearted way and not real stiff. And I think that's what became fun for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to not be another podcast about finances that's going to put you to sleep. To just be able to just have fun with it, joke around, and really give information that's kind of practical. Hey, this is something you can do today that's going to help you in your financial life.
Yeah.
Here's some behaviors that you can do. I mean, we've done all sorts of topics, and
we've gone off on many random things.
Yeah, we'll go off on random things and start talking about movies or whatever, But yeah, it's fun, and we've had a lot of positive feedback on it.
Is that something that we'll ever see come back, bringing back the podcast?
So actually, our podcast has been sleeping.
Yes.
Because we have not.
Yeah.
And we're actually really excited. We are getting ready to bring back the podcast.
That's awesome.
So
yeah.
Can't say when or where just yet, but
Yeah.
it's coming. It's coming. So a little teaser there. It is coming back, and it's called noise reduction.
Noise reduction. I'm
Yes.
writing that down.
Yeah, because we like to be able to say that we are filtering out the noise in the financial world and providing information that's useful.
And actually, our old episodes are on our website.
So they can go to our
there's a tab.
website and they can listen through those episodes. And I think there's 24 episodes.
I don't know what's on there.
Something to that extent.
Yeah. Well, I like the name, and that is important to tune out rather the things, because there's a lot of information coming at you. Whenever y'all were talking about Bitcoin, you said, hey, whenever your grandma and your neighbor are saying you need to get on this, you probably missed the boat. But like on these major like investment shows and things, or Bitcoin went up,
Right.
Bitcoin went down, like all these things. But there's so much information out there, and the internet's so full of it, and TV and your neighbors and everything else. So what do you listen to?
It's too much noise. I feel like that's the problem we have now in society, is that we have so many different ways to get information, and it is really hard to pick out the good ones. He's the one that deals. I do the social media filtering, and he does the news filtering. So that's yours, because it is exhausting for me. Because it is. And the bad part is you can see the stock market. It'll follow whatever the news is saying. You'll see, like, they'll come out with some announcement, and the world is ending, and it goes, and I'm like, stop. Just turn off your TV, please. Like, go for a walk. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like I said, like you guys have said, there's so much information out there. How do you know what's right? How do you know what is actually useful, and what even is useful to us as an investor, or even someone who's just trying to work through their family's financial plan? What do I actually need to take into consideration? Whether now on the news it's the war in Ukraine, or maybe another COVID variant, or monkeypox, or anything like that is out there, and you can drive yourself nuts going from one worry to another. And what we kind of forget is there's always something out there. There's always going to be something to worry about. There's always going to be the next news headline. And how quickly did we forget about the U.S. pullout of Afghanistan? Nobody's talking about that anymore. But people are still dealing with that over in Afghanistan. So there's always going to be that worry, and it's how do you decipher what can I actually use and what should I actually listen to? And actually, a lot of people don't even realize you can pick your favorite news station. I won't go through any names, but
let's list them. What are our options?
Yeah, but whether
don't get us in trouble.
Yeah, I know. I won't poke the bear too much, but listen to your favorite news station, whichever one you turn on in the morning, and the producers of those news stations, 9 times out of 10, they're former sports casting or sports show producers. So you're not getting information from someone who is a business finance expert. They're there to put on a show. They're there to sell commercials.
Entertainment,
right, exactly.
commercials.
Entertainment commercials, and get the emotions riled up.
Right.
And it can be difficult to listen and watch and not get emotional about the things that are out there.
Just get angry. Sometimes these things will make you angry, no matter what you watch, from one way or another, because that's what they're trying to rile up those emotions and keep you hooked in, I guess. Right?
Well, they want your eyes glued to the TV so you can see the next commercial that comes on, and that's their main priority. It's not to tell you the truth or to tell you something useful. It's what can we say that's going to be explosive enough to get you to stay glued to the television.
Yeah, and then you're in that angry mindset, and it has completely changed your morning before you realize it. And you've turned off the TV to head to work, and then you're in the car, and then somebody cuts you off, and you're angry, and you're yelling at them. And then there's road rage going on, and then they're angry. I mean, you don't realize, like, your mindset can totally change just by letting yourself absorb that to start your day. So it's honestly, I let him decipher out a lot of the news, because I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore. Like, to me, it just feels like it's the same stuff over and over and over, and it's just depressing.
Yeah.
And so for me, I hold on to God's word, and that's where my joy comes from. And at the end of the day, I feel like he knows what's going to happen long before I did. So
Yeah.
that's where I've got to focus, and I'll let you decipher the crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and all that to say that's what we do is we listen to all that stuff.
So you don't have to.
So you don't have to. And then in the podcast, we try to, get rid of that noise.
Right.
And say, here's some helpful information.
Yeah. Thinking, and this made sense in my head, with the podcast and finances, they can kind of be similar because, you have to have a plan. You're going in, how are you going to do it? And then you have to stick to that plan. If you need to change things a little bit, hey, navigate as the world changes. But being consistent is key in anything, in producing content, putting it out there, and also in investing, trying to stay consistent and having a plan. Because there's multiple ways to do both, but you have to, just be, I guess, plan it out, with the budget and all that stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was interesting.
Well, your health is the same thing. If you want to be healthy and you want to, be in shape, well, you gotta have you have to work out. Well, you have to have a workout plan. And when are you going to do it? For how long? And what are you going to do?
And you can't eat tacos for 3 meals a day.
We can't pick on Kurt. He's not here.
Oh, he'll hear it. I know he'll hear it.
But yeah, and then eating healthy. How often are you going to eat? How many calories? Are you going to do a macro diet? Are you going to do a keto diet? Are you going to do a carnivore diet? Whatever it is.
It's like they all work. You got to stick to it.
You got to stick to something, and it also different things work for different people.
Same thing with financial plans.
Right,
They're all custom
exactly.
to different things for different people. So
that makes sense. I like it. All right. So if you want to find out more information, what's the best way for them to do that?
Probably our website. It's providentoak.com or providentoakfinancial.com. It'll all take you to the same
Either one
place.
will get you there. Yeah.
Okay.
Facebook. We're Provident Oak Financial. You can find us. Our noise reduction podcast is also on Facebook, but of course it's a little paused. It's on there, but it's just no new content.
It'll be back really soon.
Yes, we're working on that. And also, I have a Twitter, but it's a waste of your time.
Twitter's hard. I don't post anymore. There's some automated stuff that'll come, and then like Twitter right now just told me I have a notification from Dusty Baker.
Oh.
He got tossed out the game 10 minutes ago. I love the Astros, but hopefully
they're playing right now?
I guess so.
I didn't realize they were playing.
It might be an old, sometimes I get notifications old, but they just sent me that. It was Julia Morales.
Huh. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't realize they were playing. But
and LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn.
They're not playing. So that was an old tweet.
So that, I guess that was yesterday or something.
You keep up with your Twitter like I do.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
Exactly.
Or they can call us 832-836-2459. Or they can just send an email, info@providentoak.com. Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you guys would like to share today?
No, just if it doesn't have to be us. Just find somebody you can trust and start somewhere. Everybody just needs to get started, and if we can help, please reach out. We like to help whoever we can. So.
Anything else?
Nope.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM.